Rob Bowser here at the Reynolds Kingdom Golf presented by TaylorMade, and I wanted to go through a few bunker tips to help regular people get out of the sand. So it makes me a little crazy when I hear instructors or professionals say that bunker shots are one of the easiest shots in golf. You don't have to hit the ball. To me, you haven't spent enough time around recreational players if you think that's the truth. So for a lot of normal golfers, this is the hardest shot they'll face all day. It's also a shot that they practice the least. And if you pay attention to golf and read tips, there seems like there's 15 different styles of getting out of a bunker. So I want to kind of break it down to the essence of what really matters. And for me, there's three things that matter, and we'll go through those three things. The first one is the depth of your divot. So in a bunker, you need to learn to take a shallow divot. And so a lot of that is, one, making sure you use your sand wedge. So I prefer a sand wedge over a lob wedge just because a sand wedge is designed to take a shallow divot more so than any other club in your bag typically. So first off, use your sand wedge, get comfortable with your sand wedge in the bunker. The second thing is understanding the club face. So if my club face is closed when it enters the sand, I'm going to tend to dig. So a shut club face at the moment of impact will dig a much deeper hole. To shallow that divot out, I don't lay the face wide open. For most normal players, that just gets them all kind of confused and messed up. Get out of the bunker with the club face that's open. So many normal golfers tend to open the club face anyway during the swing. So if you're a slicer or tend to see more shots curved to the right than to the left, you tend to naturally open your face. So start with the face square initially for a basic bunker shot. And then the drill that I like, because it speaks to kind of speed, but it also is an easy way for you to see if your depth of divot is correct, is splash some sand without a ball and watch the sand fly. And so as I watch that sand fly, it looks like a fine misty rain. If your sand's coming out and it looks like big hailstones, then your divot is way too deep. So this is a really simple and easy way to tell if the club's entering the sand properly. The other thing I love about this is so many people keep their head buried in the ground and don't rotate through to face the target. It's going to help you to get your body through facing the target in order to watch that sand fly. Kind of our second tip on being good in the bunker, stuff that really matters. So the placement of your divot really matters. So I've got a line here representing where the golf ball would be. And what I always try to communicate to my students is that you want a divot that's 50-50. So half the divot should be before the ball and half the divot should be after the ball. So this is an approximate. It doesn't have to be perfect. But in my experience as a teacher, people on grass are generally good at hitting behind the ball. So then you get them in a bunker and someone's told them to focus on hitting 4 inches behind the ball. And so the side of the divot they're really good at is back here and there's no action going on in front. So for most people, while it's true that the club may enter the sand 3 or 4 inches behind the golf ball, it's not a helpful swing thought for most normal players. Most normal players are already good at hitting behind the ball, and so now they're hitting 8 or 10 or 12 inches before they intend to. So you want to really be mindful of where you're entering the sand. So this drill, this line drill without a ball, will help to identify where you're entering the sand and exiting the sand. And here's what I would say. Ball position should vary based on your performance on this. So if I play the ball in the middle, I'll tend to take too much divot all in front. So I'm not 50-50, I'm all in front. So for me, in order to get the divot 50-50, I play the ball more like a driver, somewhere up near my left heel or my left instep. And when I do that, I'm much better at getting a divot that's kind of half and half. For a lot of you out there, you might find that in order for your divot to be 50-50, you need to play the ball closer to the middle or maybe even in the middle, and that's okay. So it's not one size fits all on ball position. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit one. And so here's how you see how you're doing with the ball there. So if you have a place to practice bunker, just make a tick mark, make a line adjacent the ball, and then go ahead and hit it. And now when I look down, I go, okay, there's a lot of that divot in front. Let me try another one. I'm just going to make a little mark in the sand so I can see where my club enters the sand and exits the sand. And I look down and I go, all right, that was better. That was closer to 50-50. So practice the 50-50 drill in the bunker. It'll ensure that the club is entering and exiting the sand at the right point. The third tip in bunker, as far as what really matters, and so speed in the bunker really matters. And so a lot of recreational players, one of the reasons bunker shots can be so difficult, especially if you open the face too much, is you just don't have enough speed, even when you take the right depth divot and the right placement of divot to get the ball out. So I want to talk about kind of a really important part of the backswing. So many of us have sculled bunker shots. And the more bunker shots you see scream over the green, the more likely you are to kind of get shorter and shorter with the length of your backswing. And so one thing that I believe is essential in the bunker is that when you make a backswing, you need to be sure that you make an L. And so that L is between the left arm and the shaft of the golf club. So whether I'm hitting a short, a mid-length, or a long bunker shot, I'm always going to make that L in the backswing. All right, so let's go ahead and hit one here. So I'll hit a short bunker shot here. I make that L in the backswing. That L ensures that I hit the sand over the lip. That's always kind of a good judge of if you have enough speed or not. So again, tip 3, make sure you have enough speed by taking a backswing where you make an L.